Hello, today on the bench we have this tool, C12DD, so it's a M12 Milwaukee tool, a little drill. Let's check what is wrong with it. Okay, you can see that it gets almost full power. The LED is working, but nothing else. Speed. Okay, so it looks like the electronic is working, kind of working, but there is something wrong that avoids it to run. Is the motor seized or what? I don't know, I don't think so. I don't know. We will have to open it and see what is inside. All screws are gone. Yes, let's try to pry it open. Okay, there is this little thing that is avoiding it to open. Okay. Okay. Let's check if we do have some voltage coming to the motor, or is there something wrong before that. So I put my multimeter in DC mode. Okay, so there is no reaction and no voltage coming. Let's try it the other way around. Still nothing. Okay, 12 volt are there. Going from the battery to one part is going there, and the other part is going to the trigger. So now let's see. Now we have removed everything. Let's do some basic tests. So what I will do is I will start with the motor, remove those wires. Can even test the motor with an external power supply to see if it is working. Okay, so motor is now out. There is a red dot there, but we'll just make a bigger one just to make sure. I'm going to try the motor to see whether or not there is an issue with it. So I put it on my bench power supply there. I put something like 10 volts and 3 amps because I think it's quite a strong little motor, so I don't want to go too low and have a wrong diagnosis. Okay, so motor is okay. That's already a good thing. Okay, so now that we saw that the motor is good, let's look around what we have on the board and see whether or not there could be something there. So the board has two sides, as you can see. One side, there are not so many components, but there is the main brain of the board. There is the LED, and then on the rest we have the main MOSFETs that control, I guess, the motor. What else do we have? Some diodes, some capacitor. Not so many components, but still some. Let's test some continuity. So poking around the board, I checked a couple of components. All, seems okay. Now, when I'm continuity mode with these MOSFETs, what I can see is that this one seems okay, and that one not okay. Not okay. So I guess there is something that is not good, as all those pins are connected. That's usually a good sign of failure. So let's try again. Yeah, as you can see, they are all connected all together on those two. So it's not to say that those two are bad. Maybe just one is bad, or maybe both. What I think I should do is try to unsolder one, then the other one, and then we'll see. Okay, next step will be to remove those two MOSFETs to find out how they behave when they are not connected to the rest of the board. To do so, I could use hot air, but there is this small connector there in plastic, so I'd rather not. So I will try to use low melt solder to push them out. If that's not enough, then I will use the hot air. But if I can avoid, I will try to. I will add a bit of flux. Should have started with that. Okay, so I'm not going to remove them so easily. So I'll just add a bit of low melt on the other ones, and I will use the hot air. No choice really. But like that, with a bit of low melt, it will help, I think, to remove those. So I protected the connector, and I set my hot air station at 350 degrees and 30% flow. So as you saw, this was not so easy, as always with those type of components. If they have a big part that is stuck to the board, it's always difficult. I mean, I find it always difficult to remove them. And yes, I did manage to break one of them. It's not like the hair was so hot, so I'm a bit surprised. Maybe that was something that was really already weakened. I will say so. So it's not my fault. Now I will test them off circuit, and we will see, of course, clean the board, and so that we can continue with the investigation. Connector is still in good shape. The rest is now clean, so we'll be able to test on the board and test those, I mean, at least this one off circuit, and see what it gives. Okay, so we can see this one is really gone. All pads are connected all together, so it's not okay. I will have to buy a replacement, so 1 or 2 is not going to be a big difference in terms of cost. I will replace it, so like that we can see if that's good enough. So I've received the replacement part. Let me check how they behave. Okay. So this was ordered from AliExpress. As you can see, I don't really like the fact that there is no marking at all on it. Sometimes it works, sometimes it doesn't. Let's see. Let's clean this up. Okay, so we have our 2 new MOSFETs, but one thing I'm a bit worried is about the big one, because, okay, so far I didn't check it, so just want to make sure that there is no issue with it. I will just lift that leg so to check a bit further if it's good or if it's not good. Okay, so we have that leg that is lifted. Let's check a couple of things like diode mode between those two legs. Okay. 0.30. So this one is okay. This part is having 0.30 is not so normal in diode mode. So let me check. Let me check resistance between those two legs. 19 ohm, 18 ohm. Oh, okay. So to me that doesn't look good. It is not shorted per se, but so as you can see with another good one, just check the resistance between, you can see that it's 3 mega ohm, and going back to diode, we have 0.5 and nothing on the other side. So to me, that looks like this one is dead. Of course, it's not the exact same form factor that I have on that one. I could order a new one and wait a couple of weeks to get it back, or so I will remove that one. This one is not the correct form factor. As you can see, there is all this part that is on top that should not be there. So I will see if just by connecting it, it does work. So this is probably not the best way to proceed, but right now, as I don't have the right package size for that chip, what I just want to try if this will will allow the whole board to work. If it does, then okay, I will remove it and order the right one so that I can fit it in. If not, then okay, we'll see how we will progress. But first, with that setup this way, I will try with the battery and see whether or not we get something out of those leads. So let's check whether or not we get some voltage out of those leads now that everything is set up. Hey, 12 volt. Perfect. So now we know that not only those two were probably dead, but this one was dead too. So 3 MOSFETs. Now, regarding that one, I have 2 possibilities. I order a new one, which is probably the best way to do, or I just, cut that one. Is that a good idea or not? I guess it's an idea, but, considering that this part is probably worth a couple of euros, I will order a new one. It's just a question of time. It's going to take a bit of time to reach here, but I think it's better than chopping this part and trying to make do like that. I mean, it will work, and we see that it works this way. But okay, that's not really a good setup for a tool that will continue its life. So I don't think it's the best and right way to proceed. So I will just remove that one again, clean the whole thing up, and order that part so that we can have a proper setup. The audio recording for that part was really too low, so I will do it on voiceover. So as you can see, I received at that time the replacement MOSFET. So I will install it, but one thing to notice is this part that is next to the MOSFET that is there. In fact, this is a thermoresistor that controls whether or not the MOSFET is going hot or not hot. So what I will do is remove it just to make sure that I don't burn it using the hot air that I will use for the MOSFET. So next step you will see me doing is really about removing that thermistor, then putting the MOSFET back in place. At that stage everything was back in place. The MOSFET was there, the thermal resistor was put there too, so everything was ready. What I did afterwards is put some silicone on the thermal resistor as it was there before, so that we have something that is conform to the original. And then I moved on to clean the whole thing and reassemble the whole device. If you're doing the same, just beware. There are the 4 ones that are there that are longer, and the other one are shorter. So now, big moment of truth. Will everything work once assembled and all together? Yes! Yes, that's good. That's good, really good. Let's go. All direction, all speed. Yeah, great. I'm quite happy with that one. So yet another tool that is saved. I'm really happy with that one. It will be a good complement to this one. If you haven't seen the video on how to repair that one, please have a look. It's really nice too. So in conclusion, what caused the issue are those. It's not a big surprise. It happens quite a lot on those type of tools. A lot of power is drawn, this overheats. Maybe the quality is not the best. Maybe it's pushed too much, and then those fails. I don't have the full history of that tool, of course. I bought it broken, so maybe I'm wrong, and maybe the previous owner was taking really good care and not pushing it, but I doubt it a little bit when I see that all those components are gone. I hope you enjoyed the video. If you have the same tool with the same issue, I advise you to look at those MOSFETs, see if they are gone, check the way I did it, and you will be able to do the same and even better, I'm sure. Thank you for watching the video. I hope you enjoyed. I hope you learned something maybe. If you did, please leave a like, subscribe if you haven't done it yet, and see you soon in another video. Cheers!